Hey Cupcakes, it's Mushroom, and we are back on Ark Survival Ascended. We are less than a week away from the long-awaited release of what was originally supposed to be the last story map, Extinction. Extinction is the map that saved Ark Survival Evolved 6 years ago as wildcards saw the player base dwindling, and we're going to finish off the original story with our arrival on Earth. As we know, Extinction revitalized people's interest in the game, and that led us to the Genesis expansions. As it is such an important map to Ark Survival, I'm so excited to see it in ASA again. So today, we are getting ready for its arrival with the top 10 tips to survive Extinction. As always, if there are any that I forgot, remember to drop them in the comments below to help out your fellow survivors. Let's start off with our tip number 1, corrupted nodules. Getting resources on Extinction can be very difficult due to its harsh conditions and even harsher creatures. The regular creatures on the map can be brutal, but when you venture out into the wastelands, you are faced with death from all sides, from the elements and most importantly, the corrupted creatures. These creatures are ultra aggressive and strong and even able to destroy most metal structures. When you are finally able to take these creatures down, you will be rewarded with corrupted nodules. Make sure not to toss these out, as they can actually be used in replacement of polymer. This can be huge for progressing your tribe ahead on the harsh map. Staying in line with resources, our second tip is for city structures. For tribes just starting out, and for tribes in the late game, a massive advantage for setting up a base on Extinction is the very easy method of gathering element dust, metal ingots, and electronics. By using an axe or even better, a doedicurus, and harvesting the metal structures found throughout the city, you will get tons of these resources very easily. This will be the reintroduction of element dust back to the game and remains the easiest way to get dust on ASA or ASE. It will be difficult on busy servers to find these structures standing, as they can often be mined as soon as they spawn. But they are most important to prioritize, as it's the easiest way to get element on Extinction. When deciding where you want to live on Extinction, choosing the city is a very attractive idea. The city is central and makes it very easy to get to every biome. Plus, its long ramps and high ledges provide tons of flat land on which to build a great base. The metal structures so close at hand also make the city a very great place to live. But there is a major drawback, so tip number 3 is for those choosing to build in the city. Set up turrets as soon as you can. The 3 biomes are well protected, and often corrupted creatures from the wasteland don't wander in. However, the city is completely undefended, and often creatures from the wasteland just wander in or even get carted by other players. Building in metal won't help your structures or your teams, especially the ones not left inside a building. Setting up turrets to kill these corrupted creatures will. Moving on to our 4th tip, which also regards where you build: city terminals. For many survivors, especially early in the game, building near obelisks is vital for easy transfer off the server. But this is going to look a little different on Extinction. The obelisks in Extinction are not functional, as there is no terminal at the bottom of them. Instead, there are city terminals scattered throughout each biome, including the city. The terminals are much smaller than obelisks, and they can be very convenient when you have access to one. Unfortunately, many tribes will claim these mini-obs and build a base around them, cutting off access for others. So if you are playing PvE and you manage to find one unclaimed, then make sure you have proximity to one until you have access to a tech transmitter. And we are moving on to resources for our 5th tip: Crystalized Sap. Venturing out of the safety of a biome or the city into the harsh wastelands is always a risk. There's danger around every corner, but the resources you'll find there will make it worth it. Such as red and blue gems, which are surprisingly easy to get on Extinction if you know where to look. Green gems can be mined in clumps in the city, but the trees in the wasteland have a material called crystallized sap, And most of the regular trees in the wasteland have regular sap. Red crystallized sap replaces red gems, as well blue crystallized sap replaces blue gems. The blue sap can be mined from white-tip trees found throughout the exterior of the wasteland. Red sap can be found by harvesting the blood-ridden trees, which are most common in the northern wasteland, where the really dangerous corrupted creatures spawn. It's recommended if you're going to mine this material from trees, make sure to use a pickaxe, as it'll give you much more sap than a hatchet will. Our sixth tip is for our PvP survivors out there. Great hideaway locations. PvP on Extinction can be extremely fun, but as with most maps, it can be very difficult for small tribes or solos to survive and thrive. One of the best spots to build a 1x1 stash is along the tree roots of the sunken forest. If you fly along the roof, you'll find lots of rat holes and hidden spots to stash a small cache. I wouldn't recommend building a base here. As a solo, it can be a hot spot for PvP, but if you just need to put a 1x1 cache, it's a great location to pick. I wanted to include tips for everyone on this list, so I wanted to include a tip for those new to Extinction on Ark Survival Ascended, as well as for those that need a quick refresher on early game. Using the defense units to your advantage. I've spoken quite a bit about how dangerous the city can be, but it is most definitely the best spot to start out in early game before you venture out to the biomes. It has fresh water, beaver dams, easy to kill and tame early game creatures, and easy access to middle nodes. One additional key to early game in the city is the defense units. They are the robots rolling around that look like they should be in Star Wars, and they patrol the abandoned city, killing any creature that gets too close to them, like raptors and dilos. If you have something chasing you, or even if you just need hide, make sure to use these guys to your advantage and cart the creature to them, as they'll make easy work of any low-level creature. As a side note for early game, remember to get a decent set of ghillie and stock up on food and water before you leave the safety of the city, as your food and water drain so quickly in the wastelands. Our last 3 tips are best for when you leave the early stages of your playthrough on Extinction. But before we get to them, if you like this content, then remember to cart a corrupted wyvern to the like button space, and subscribe to join the mushroom party on our little adventure through the Arks. Our 8th tip is most relevant for PvE, but it is definitely important in PvP situations as well: claiming your wasteland drops. I have seen so many tribes find a hard 50k element vein and start fighting it, only for another tribe to come and claim it on the main vein and take their hard work. Once you enter the vein, creatures will start spawning, but it is most important to properly claim it before someone else can. As a similar issue, once you finish an OSB drop and it opens, the loot will scatter around the area, so make sure you use a whip if possible, or just collect the loot quickly. The loot will be heavy, so bring an RG or a gas bag if possible. Owls and manas typically do not have enough weight to carry it all. Our 9th tip is another for element veins and OSB drops, as they are the key to surviving Extinction: how to properly beat them. Element veins are straightforward, and once you have a giga, even the hardest 50k vein is easily beatable. Make sure you destroy the creatures attacking before they destroy all of the different nodes, but when you are harvesting it, you need to take care to get as much element as possible. Mine the smaller nodes on the exterior first, and then mine the main, largest node last, as once you mine it, any smaller nodes will be destroyed. In order to make sure that you're getting as much element as possible, make sure that you're using a high melee mantis, as well as very good picks. OSB drops come in different colors. Most are easily beatable. The purple OSB drops, however, are a different case, being extremely difficult to beat, as the waves of creatures are brutally strong, high level, and there are tons of them that spawn. but it is the best method how to get the absolute best blueprints in the game. To be most effective, make sure to bring with you metal gateways and spike walls in order to slow down the corrupted creatures and give yourself a chance to take them out before they get to the drop. The corrupted creatures will be able to destroy these structures, but if any manage to last until you're done the drop, make sure if you're on PvE to pick them up so that they don't affect other people's drops. I saved the 10th tip for the end, as I personally feel it is the most important key to conquering Extinction. Extinction is finally completed when you face and defeat the Alpha King Titan, which was the strongest boss in Ark until Genesis was introduced, but is still extremely difficult. In order to face him, you must first beat the titans of each biome: desert, snow, and forest. And you need to tame these fierce creatures in order to take down the King Titan. So our 10th tip is how to tame them efficiently. Taming them is more difficult than just beating them, so you need to destroy the corrupted nodes on them, but inflict as little damage to their bodies as possible. The more damage you inflict on them attempting to tame them, the more taming efficiency you will lose, which can be the difference between beating the King Titan and losing. The Ice Titan is the most difficult in my opinion, and it is best done with a mech. Then the Desert Titan that is very easy with Philonosaurs and a Quetzal. And the Forest Titan is the one I consider the easiest, with Gigas and rocket launchers to hit the nodes. Done properly, taming these titans is so much fun, and the final boss battle is one of the most rewarding and fun experience on the Arks. Extinction is a brutal map. It was so important to Ark Survival Evolved, and I'm sure it'll be just as important to Ark Survival Ascended. And I hope these tips will make your journey just a little bit easier. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and remember to like and subscribe. Until next time, stay fresh, cupcakes!